everything changes. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. It's August 17th, 2020, and I want to talk to you guys about items that are expensive, primarily $100 plus on eBay, that will hopefully profit you at least 50%, or somewhere around there. You know, some of these items are a little cheaper. One of them, in fact, this is just a bonus. I actually had to go replace a part. This is a refrigerator condenser blade and motor piece, so it kind of goes like that. And this goes underneath my fridge and plugs in. It kind of went bad. It got bent. I just bought this from a parts warehouse locally, and this was $90, $90.29, $90.29. So I'm guessing, I actually asked the guy, he didn't tell me right away, but they make about double their money. So he paid 45 bucks for this and sold it to me for 90. Not bad, almost a $100 item. I know there's some of you that sell appliances through eBay. You break down appliances, maybe somebody can comment on the video below, but they buy and scrap appliances and they dig the parts out and they sell the parts used for 30, 40 bucks. So that's just a little bonus one. But let's jump over to my laptop or my iPad and I'll show you guys some screen shares and some of the $100 plus items that are consistent, that you can actually find and that you should always be looking for to sell on eBay for profits that will make you $40 and $50 a piece. Imagine if you just sold one or two of those a day, you could make yourself $1,500 to $2,500 a month if you were just selling one or two a day. So let's check them out. All right, so the number one item is video game consoles, and I just chose a random one, the Sony PS2 Silver. Even the old ones can be worth a lot of money. If you look, these are trending right around 100. So the first one's at 103. The second one is 86 with 15 shipping, so that's 101. The next one, 83 with 13 shipping, so that's 96. The next one, about 97. Couple cheaper, we got a 95, we got a 97, a 102, right around 100 bucks for these. And there are several other systems that are older. Of course, the newer PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones, all of those worth well over 100, into the mid hundreds and low 200s. Even some of the Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3 consoles, if they're bundled up, can be items that are worth over 100, 100 and a quarter. And of course, the Sony 3DSs, 3DS XLs, those are worth it as well. Let's look at one other one that's worth over 100. All right, so you guys can see the 3DSs and 2DSs, the XLs, the regulars, still worth, the regular 3DSs will sell probably around 70, 80 bucks, somewhere maybe upwards of 90. We see some 90s, some 86s, but those XLs are in the mid 150s, up to 200 for the newer type editions. If you're looking at the original, like the 2DS XLs, those are expensive. The 3DS XL regulars are still like 80 to 100, up over 120. So all of these older video game systems, some of the PS2 Slims, and then the newer systems, the PS4s, Xbox Ones, all items that are worth well over 100, 150, up to 200 on some of these. So the things you look for at thrift stores, garage sales, anywhere that you can find them where you might be able to pick it up for 50 or 60 bucks or 70, bucks, flip it for 150 and make yourself 30, 40, $50. The reason also that it's so good, not just the profit that's pretty good, but these will sell super quick. As fast as you can list them, you won't sit on these for longer than a few days. At most, people will be interested. They'll buy them. They'll sell quick. Very, very quick. Systems usually same day. If you have best offer, you'll start getting offers. You don't even need best offer. Just price it relatively competitively, but on the higher end, and people will start asking questions and messaging you, and somebody will buy it right away. So that's another good reason, not just because they're high priced, which is what we're talking about, but because they sell very, very quickly. Item number 2 is iPhones and smartphones in general. Now, warning, word of warning to everyone here. If you don't know what you're doing with phones, please don't attempt to buy and resell them. They're very, very high risk, very complicated, and very, very bad to sell if you have no idea about eBay's policies and IC3.gov and all these things to protect yourself. So if you do know and you're willing to take the risk, this is an iPhone 8, which is actually, the iPhone 12 is coming out. We've had we didn't have a 9. We had like an iPhone X and then 11, like an XR, and then like we're gonna have an iPhone 12. So this is 3 to 4 years ago, and they're still selling used for the mid 200s up to $300. Most of them right around 250, 229. Something you might be able to say to somebody, hey, you've had it, it's 3 years old, I give you $100 for it, I give you $125 for it. You buy it, you flip it for 250, and now you've made money. And if you think the video games and systems sell fast, iPhones sell even faster. But again, be very, very cautious. These are the highest frauded, highest risk items on all of eBay, on anywhere really, including gift cards. I think they're even more than that. And the scammers come out of the woodworks left and right, even with experienced sellers for phones. So you really have to know what you're doing. Okay, number 3 is going to be Sony camcorders, and it's not just Sony camcorders in general, vintage ones, new age ones. These really have some great value. People love these, but especially the older vintage ones that you can't get anymore, or the newer 4K type ones. You guys can see a Sony Digital 8 Handycam 700X digital zoom steady shot right there. The bundle, I can click on it. This one sold for $175 plus $18.95 shipping, so almost $200 when you include the shipping. You've got one here that sold for $295, one that sold for $750, another one at $70, another one at $109 all in. So really check for these Sony Handycams. Be them old or new. Some of them $20, $30, some of them $120, $130. And so they're a solid item. I've sold quite a few of these. I own one of these that I bought to resell. I think I paid 30 or 40 bucks for it. It was worth like 130. I bought it. I ended up keeping it. It's still to this day, and this is 5-6 years later, still to this day, I think it's worth about 75 or 80 bucks. So, don't sleep on these Sony Handycams and any of the other Handycams as well. Here's another one, 149, 135, 449. 60, 155, 239, $8,000. Holy crap. 106, 70, 220. So you guys can see most of these over $100. Even the cheaper ones, still $30, $40 camcorders, but most of these should be, 75 to 100 bucks plus, and they're really worth picking up. Look for them at thrift stores, at garage sales and yard sales, especially estate sales. I see them, and you can find them in a lot of pawn shops, and it's possible you could find a $150 one that the pawn shop maybe has up for $120. And you offer them 70, 80 bucks, and you make a pretty good profit off of it. These also will sell as quick as you can list them. Okay, next on our list is Harley Davidson jackets. They're almost all over $100. You can see them here as we scroll through. This is used, so $173 plus 14 shipping, $177, $125, $150, $133, $142, $139, $128. The cheapest one, there you go, is a $79, $80 one, $157. And so pretty much every Harley jacket you're going to find is north of 100, 100 and a quarter, most of them 150 plus. And that's like really solid, easy sales, quick sales. And that should be something, if you could pick it up 50 bucks at a yard sale, garage sale, boom, you sell for $150, $100 profit, less fees and shipping, make yourself $60, $70. So really, really a great item. And you should see these, probably in the last 3 years, I've sold about a half a dozen of them. It's not something you'll find every day, but I buy it a little bit differently than everyone else. So if you're out shopping these thrift stores and estate sales all the time, unlike me who's buying in bulk, you'll probably come across these a lot more often. Even the windbreaker jackets and the lighter ones can still fetch $50 to $75 in most cases. And of course, as always, look for Harley boots, look for Harley chaps, look for anything Harley Davidson accessory or parts, look for Harley shirts, especially the 3D ones. Look for anything Harley, but these jackets are a solid yes every time you see them. Okay, number 5, I believe, on our list. Is this number 5? Yeah. Number 5 is camera lenses. Nikon, Canon, Nikkor, all those different types of name brand lenses that you'll see for DSLR and SLR cameras are very, very expensive. Some of these camera lenses can be thousands of dollars. Those of you that don't know, my fiance is a photographer, and her main lens is about $3,000 retail for just the lens. That doesn't count the body that it's on, but the lens, even on the used market, I think it was about $2,000, and we got a deal from someone for like $1,500 for it, or $1,700 or something. So very, very expensive, these lenses, and well worth looking for if you see them at pawn shops or out and about. That sort of thing is something you always want to check on. Most of the smaller lenses, you guys can see on my screen right now, this Nikon Nikkor 20mm f2.8 may not mean a lot to anybody else, but even that's a very low-end lens, is selling for $145 on the used market. Now, yeah, there are $30, $40, $50 lenses. You can see one right there with that $39 Nikon 70x300. But you look right underneath of it, you've got another one that's $112. You've got one that's $214. You got a $126 one. You've got, one there that's only $57. But even those, if you could pick them up for $20, $30 because they're a cheapy lens, you could make a few bucks on. But most of these lenses, Nikon, Canons, Nikors, there's a few other brands that you want to look for, are definitely worth 100 plus, 150 plus, and something you always want to be keeping your eye out for. Okay, number 6 is going to be GoPro Hero 6s and higher. So you guys all know the GoPro series as of filming this video in August 2020 is on the 8 series, which is a $300, $400, or $450 camera. There's different colors with different features, and so they start at like $300 or $350, and they go to $400 and $450 for the 8. For the 7s, you can still pick them up in the low 3s and 200s, and for the 6s, you can see here the used ones are in the mid 100s, upwards of 150 to 175. So anything in the 6 range or better at the time of this filming, usually within the first 2 years of the camera. So if we're on the 8, go back to 6. If you're on the 7, you go back to the 5. But even the GoPro Hero 4s can be about 60 to 80 bucks. So you could pick up the 4s and maybe with a bundle squeak out 100, but we're looking for items over 100. So we're going to have to get to a 5 or 6 series or better to do that. So any GoPros like that, but it's still an opportunity. Pawn shops usually have a lot of them. I've probably bought and sold 100 GoPros from pawn shops, so definitely worth looking at. Estate sales, garage sales, yard sales, they might stick one out there for 50 bucks that you can pick up and sell for 125, 150. Anyways, GoPro cameras, some of their accessories as well. Make sure they're authentic and real, but if you bundle these things up, you can do pretty well on them. Okay, number 7 is tablets, primarily Apple iPads. They cannot be sold on Amazon. Remember that. You have to sell them on eBay. This happens to be an iPad Pro 12.9 inch, the 3rd generation cellular Wi-Fi edition. They came in 64s. They came in 128 gigs, I believe, and also 256 512s. I have a 128 gig iPad Pro 3rd gen 12.9 inch. This is the 2019 edition. I bought this in a little over a year and a half ago. So I had it in July of 19 when I went to Vegas for eBay Open. I think I bought it in like May or June as a birthday gift to myself, and it was like $1,200. So you're talking about a year and a month ago, and they're still selling used. If you were to look up, this 128 gig right here is mine. I have the box and charger. $885. Now, I paid $1,200 for it brand new. I didn't buy it with the intention of selling it or an investment. I use it every day, just about. It's bailed me out of a few situations. It's great mobile. It's great in bed. And it's just a great, viewing YouTube, playing games. I use it for my gaming channel. Lots of stuff that the iPad is fantastic for work-wise. It's a business write-off for me, but it still holds its value. Now, some of these iPads that have been out for a couple years that people paid, $800 and $1,000 for in 16 and 17 are still worth $200, $300, $400 to this day. So there's tons of deals to be had. But again, just like cell phones, a highly frauded, highly scammed item. You better know what you're doing. You better know about iCloud. You better know about IC3. You better know about softwares and updates and models and testing everything. Just anything mobile related is very, very risky. So just play it safe. If you don't know what you're doing, skip this one, skip the phones. But otherwise, if you do and you feel comfortable, eBay's return policies, chargeback policies, how to fight stuff, then by all means, feel free to step into this world. Okay, number 8, I believe we're on. Number 8 is routers, especially gaming routers. Things like this Netgear Nighthawk router. The Nighthawk ones are pretty popular. They can sell for 80, 100, 130, 120. Most of these are brand new in the 200 plus range, so it's definitely worth checking out routers like this. Also, Cisco routers, Lucent, Fujitsu. There's all kinds of different routers and telecommunications equipment that have a lot of value, so keep an eye out for those. These are more of the at-home. These are the consumer side ones. The definitely the business side ones. The
The consumer gaming at home routers are in the 250 range. They sell for, you know, $100, 125 on the used market. But if you get into that commercial side, that retail, that business side, something you might see in an office building or in a hospital or a bank, those things can be, you know, $1,000 brand new and sell on the used market for $300 or $400. They could be, you know, 2 or 3,000 one. Those of you that know Drive Time with Dave on my channel, they sell routers that are $5,000 that he gets and sells used for 2,500. So just something to think about. Routers have a very, very good resale value, and they typically sell very, very quickly. Okay, number 9 is a cool one. I used to play this when I was a teenager. It's paintball and paintball guns. Paintball guns are expensive. When I was a teenager, man, I bought a gun that was brand new, $300, and when I ended up selling it all off, I still got like 150 for it long before my eBay days. I just needed to sell it. Some of the bundles and accessories, you're talking about 100, 150 bucks. As you scroll down, you can see some of these used ones. That Tippmann Striker MP2, $200 on the used market. The Smart Parts Impulse paintball gun, $200. Yes, some of them are only worth $40, $50, $60, so be careful, but many of them worth over $100, especially if you can get some hoppers. That's the piece that screws on the top that you see there that holds all of the paintballs at the top of it. If you can get a mask, if you can get a tank, if you can get extra carriers like the belt clip, tons and tons of accessories that can go with these. Extra barrels, extra grips. It's almost like a homemade Fortnite, but Fortnite didn't exist then. Yeah, so these can be well worth 100, 150 bucks for different combos and different bundles if you can put them all together. Probably find these a lot at yard sale and thrift sales, garage sales. You can probably find them at some estate sales. You can definitely find them in pawn shops and some other places where you would be able to source these: Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, etc. So paintball guns, a fun one. Add it to the list and look for them. Okay, number 10, I'll round this out with Bose speakers, Bose surround sound. Typically, these sets, these smaller square sets that you'll see for around the house are going to average about 75 to 80, 90, upwards of 100, depending on the quality and how many speakers that you get. But if you just go to surround sound systems in general, you can see that there are a ton of surround sounds that will get you, surround sound systems in the home speaker and subwoofer category, that will get you tons of $100 models and different things. There's Samsungs, of course, and Sonys and Boses. Typically, though, if you just search out Bose speakers in general rather than just the surround sound, and we come over here and we go to our sold listings and we go to our condition used, because we're always going to be looking for used stuff. There's 6,200 plus Bose speakers. You will find a ton of them. Look, 60 and 14 is 75, 76, 65, 70. You'll find a ton of $70 and $80 speakers. You will also find a bunch, if you filter this by our top sort, highest price plus shipping, you can see there are definitely $1,000 plus Bose speakers. There's 800 plus. There's tons and tons of surround sound. You can do the same for the other brands as well, and they will bring you back a lot of money. Sound systems for houses, Sonys, Samsungs, Boses, all of them with subwoofers and like 4 or 5 speakers can be worth 100 plus. If you're just getting a couple speakers, then yeah, you'll probably find those ones that we just saw for 60, 70, 80 bucks, but at least you know you can get that much, and usually 100 or more if you can get some extra things with them. So surround sound systems, speakers, Bose, all that stuff, especially if you get the remotes, because we know the remotes are worth 15 and 20 by themselves as well. That will round out our 10 items worth over $100, or at least close to 100 plus, that you should be looking for to sell on eBay. A lot of those items can also go on Amazon, except the Apple items. You can't sell those, and Bose can't go on Amazon as well. You have to sell it on eBay or Mercari or Facebook or wherever you sell at. eBay's best as always. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Ask me any questions down in the comment section below. I'll answer them for you. If you have any concerns, comments, or anything else, you'd like to email me, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. And as always, these bolos, be on the lookout for items and 700 additionals with sell-through rates telling you how fast or how slow all of these items. It's 1,500 items plus 700 bolos in 25 categories. We've broken it down. We've told you how fast they'll sell, how many are selling daily, monthly, and how much you can expect to get for most of them is all below in a link. You can purchase the guide for $29.99 for the entire setup, and you will be automatically emailed. I'll link that below. Thank you for supporting the channel, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.